Hello there, Ray here, and today I would like to show you a technical prank. I like to call this prank Dragon in the Basement. The way that this prank usually occurs is that once the person who's been pranked upon comes home to his base, he'll see a sign saying, "Caution! Dragon hiding in your basement." Upon looking downward, you'll see that there is an Ender Dragon health bar up above his screen. This will make him quite scared, so he'll frantically go into his house, run down into his basement, and try to see what is all the ruckus about. The way that this prank works, if we teleport ourselves down to the bedrock level down below, we can see that we actually have a wither here, and this wither is actually emerged in bedrock, and his name is Ender Dragon. He is renamed with the name tag here, and he is currently trapped within the bedrock, and he can't escape, and he's just looking at this iron golem over here. The setup you see in front of me was actually done in an old 1.7 snapshot server that was in hardcore mode, so I'll show you how you can do this in 1.9 as well as 1.8, since quite a bit has changed with withers and bedrock removal. A lot of times for servers there are rules about pranking. In this server there was a rule about not using explosions, and there was also a rule saying that you should leave your name on the sign showing that you did the prank. I usually didn't leave my name on the sign because my pranks were pretty obvious. But for explosions, I would say that if you do something that is safe, which I'll be showing you an extremely safe method to contain the wither, I think using explosions is okay in this case. So the 1.8 and 1.9 bedrock cage that I use is this new one that I came up with. This one completely encases the wither in bedrock, and there's no way for him to get out. You can see that this prank consists of withers and bedrock removal, two things I love. You can see here that the wither is looking up at this chicken with his main head, and his side heads are encased in this bedrock, so he cannot shoot off blue wither skulls. And there's also no way for him to get out because underneath this bedrock here is just void. Before you can build this prank, you first have to find a proper bedrock formation within the overworld to place the wither within. From my testing, about 80 to 90% of the overworld bedrock formation is the same per seed. But there is still like a 10 to 20% chance that your seed has a bedrock formation that is not the majority. With this, it is possible for you to actually find these bedrock formations without even knowing the seed of your server. This is because you can actually look for these bedrock formations on a different world that has the same bedrock formations as your server. So if we come here to the origin of the world, which is 0, 0 in the overworld, and we clear off the top layer so that we can just see the starting layer of bedrock, you can see here in the southwest corner here we have this L shape. And this L shape is like this for about 90 to 80% of the worlds. Even if you do know what type of bedrock you have for your overworld, it can be a bit tedious to actually find this perfect bedrock formation where the wither will be completely encased in bedrock. So I asked Wout 12345 way back in May of 2015, so a while ago, if he could search for my bedrock formation with his bedrock searching program. With this program, he searched for this type of bedrock formation in a 16 by 16 chunk area around the origin of the world, which is 0, 0, and he found over 200 of these formations within that area. Since most world spawns are somewhat near 0, 0, and most people have built their house around their spawn, there's a good chance that one of these bedrock formation has already been found that is near one of the houses that you want to prank. In the video description will be a link to the pastebin that Wout made that shows all the locations of this bedrock formation that are near 0, 0. So what encompasses this bedrock formation is that there is a bedrock piece above the wither's head, so he cannot ever destroy this bedrock and fly upward. And there's also this donut shape piece of bedrock here. This is where the side heads will be encased within, so they cannot show off any blue wither skulls. And right here where this clear pane is, and down here where there's some more clear glass, are two areas I asked Wout to search for that are either non-bedrock. So, and all the gray area can be either bedrock or non-bedrock. And at the very bottom there is always bedrock. When you find your bedrock formation, it will not be usable. You would have to remove some bedrock. The two main things that need to be cleared up is that the bedrock that is at Y level 0 down here will have to be removed. This allows the wither to be able to stand in that spot. And also the area right here, there has to be a 3 by 3 area of air so you can summon in the wither by placing down the soul sand and the heads. So this bedrock piece would have to be removed right here. If you're in a server where you're still running in versions 1.8.1, you can use the bed trick where you can place down a vine and then place a bed right here on the vine. This will delete the bedrock. This is very useful for removing bedrock in a horizontal area. If you're playing in a version that is after 1.8.1, you are left with using some other bedrock breaking methods, such as dragon eggs, which I actually have a video about, and I'll link down in the description, as well as using piston tile ticks, which Myron Irio shows. It's not too difficult to remove the bedrock so that you can summon in the wither here, but the hardest part is to remove the bedrock that is down at Y level 0. For the most part, I recommend try to remove the majority of the bedrock down to Y level 0 with either the bed trick or the dragon egg trick, because using the tile tick method with pistons can be pretty tedious to remove single bedrock one by one. Down in the video description is the video from Myron Irio where he shows how you can use this tile tick method to break bedrock. And the method he shows, you can break bedrock under you and above you. He doesn't show you how you can break it to the side, so I just took his same thing and just turned it so you can break bedrock to the side, and that's what I'm going to show today. So it's built up just like his one in his video, and then once you're all built up, first I'm going to try to do this piston. So we'll just start it up, and after the 4-second delay, the side sticky piston will extend and the TNT will blow off the extension. So next up we want to do the top one. So you notice that this piston got blown off, so you just want to place this piston back in. These are both sticky pistons, and you just have to push this piston in from above since you can't really reach up there and place it. And before you unpower this, you want to make sure that we power this headless piston here. So I'll just stick a lever there, unpower it, then we can unpower this, and we can get ready for our next piston. This piston we want to encase in obsidian just so it doesn't break off. We just wanted to break off the extension of the head. So now we'll just stick a redstone dust there so that it will extend the second piston, and we'll try to blow the extension off the second sticky piston. It appears that it got blown off. Yep, you can see that both of them are lost their extensions. Now before we tear this all down, we will want to put a lever here and make sure it's powered. And then now we can tear down this other excess stuff here, as well as all this. And then we'll come in and we'll do the next phase. So next up, we will want to set it up like this. So we have our two headless pistons here. We want to have a normal piston facing this way. It'll be extended, and we'll have a normal facing back. When the extended one is sitting back against the bedrock that we're trying to remove. And then we just have a lever. We have a repeater going into this headless piston that's on 2 ticks. Then we have 2 repeaters spaced out going into they're actually going into the bedrock, which is powering this this piston here that's non-sticky. Then we have the wiring go up, and we have 2 repeaters in a row that are powering this piston here, which is another headless piston. So once that's all set up, you can just remove this power source here, and now once you depower this, you'll see that this bedrock piece gets removed right here. The reason why we removed the bedrock that was down here is because the next phase is that we have to come in and break this bedrock that is here at Y level 0, and to do that we need some room to put in some pistons. So now we got the same setup as before, but down here we have the pistons pushed over. We got the 2 sticky pistons. Now we got them side by side. We have them facing this center block is the block we want to have removed. So after the first explosion, we'll power this piston down here, and now we'll just extend the power so the next time it will be powering this next piston over here. So now we will want to set it up like this. Here we have the 2 headless pistons. We got one here, one here. The one that's pulling across will have the 2 delay on a repeater, and the piston that is headless piston that is in front, he will have 2 repeaters on 1 tick delay, and the non-sticky piston that's facing upwards will have 2 1-tick repeaters that are spaced out. And this piston here is a non-sticky piston here. You would have to push him in from above to get him in like this. But once you got everything in order, then you can come along and remove the power from the pistons above here, and then once you flip the switch, you see that the bedrock underneath will be removed. So yep, right here we got a hole from the bedrock that's been removed. So the next part is to summon in the wither. So first we want to put in our chicken, and our chicken will be up here on top, well, at least 1 meter up if you want to prevent it from getting damaged too much from the wither. And you'll just spam eggs until you get a baby chick in there. Stay in there. So now that there is a chicken in there, we can summon in the wither, and he will try to stay near that chicken by floating up to it. And underneath here we'll want to stick a bottom slab. That way prevent the wither from falling down into the void. And next we'll just do the shape of the wither. Now you notice that we're actually summoning the wither pretty high up, and technically he could probably fly out, but he doesn't. He'll fall straight down into this hole. And once he is summoned in, he will just keep his eye on this chicken up here, and then he'll go through his explosion phase, which will slightly damage the chicken, but should not kill the chicken. And now he is completely encased within the bedrock, and he is 3.5 meters high. You can see that the majority of him is up here, and he still has half a meter worth of room below him, and he'll just stay in there as long as you keep him within the range of the chicken. So why exactly do we summon the wither up here and we don't summon him down here? Well, you may not know this, but you cannot actually summon a wither with its skulls placed on either the level Y0 or level Y1. You can see here, this would normally form a wither, but it does not. And even if you build this down here, let's say down at level Y1 or Y0 here, this also does not create a wither. But if you would happen to build it up some, like up here, you can see that this will actually spawn in a wither. There's actually another way that you can summon him in, and that is by not having that bottom slab there. And this way you summon him, he will fall down into the void. And the neat thing about 1.8 is that the wither will actually remember his targets up here, so even though he falls into the void, he will shoot straight up and come back into his hole and keep his eye on his target, which is up here, which is pretty neat. If you don't want to go for this type of bedrock formation, then you can also just go for a more common bedrock formation, which is just this donut shape here, which is at Y level 4, and then you could just put some obsidian above him. And if you handle this, handle the wither correctly in this type of situation, it is just as safe as that one over there. And you have your chicken set up 1 meter above the obsidian, just as the other one, and then you can just summon your wither down here. And once the wither is summoned in, he will be set right in within the bedrock. And the very bottom of the bedrock, he cannot, he can't fall into a void, which is a little bit better than that one. And once he explodes, he will be tracking this chicken with his main head, and his side heads will be in this bedrock here, so he cannot shoot off any blue wither skulls. Nice thing about this bedrock formation, it is more common than that one. And if you just clear off a bunch of bedrock, you'll be able to find this one quite easily. The nice thing about this is that if you ever do want to kill the wither, you can kill the wither and easily retrieve the star from it. So now you want to name your wither. You can name your wither whatever you want. Here I have this wither called Ender Dragon. So you can kind of try to fool your friends thinking that they have an Ender Dragon in their basement. Even though in 1.9 the health bar of the Ender Dragon is a slightly different color, but most people don't know that. And here we also have a name tag, and this is my invisible name tag, what I call impossible name tag. And it is just a name tag that is named with a special character so it doesn't show up. So now you end up having a wither that has no name with it. You could try to convince your friends that you have a ghost in their basement or something. I'll put a link in the description to the video where I show how you can make these type of name tags. There you have it, guys, how to prank like a pro and troll like a tyrant. If you found this interesting, show me with a like. If you'd like to see more content like this, subscribe, and don't forget to comment. Bye bye.